What do you think you wish more people understood about crystal meth addiction?
How tricky it makes the person who's using.
Mm.
Like, they're so tricky and cagey, and they're wasting away to nothing in front of you, and they're displaying all these behaviors that they never did before. And you have to understand that that's not the person that you knew. And if they aren't going to try, or if they're not able to try and help themselves, then I don't know how much you can do for a person in that situation. And sometimes you may have to cut them off in order for your own mental health to not be dragged down with them, or, cause yourself a lot of like anxiety and health issues just because you're constantly worried about that person. But it's hard to pin down. It's hard to figure out. And meth is probably the worst drug anyone in the world could ever do, because it's so addicting, and it's such a destructive drug, not just for families and relationships, but for your own body, for your own brain. The fact that, like, even now, like, you've done so many things to like rebuild your brain, but you still have gaps too.
Yeah.
You didn't remember that you called me like 3 of the 4 times you were in jail, and you thought I was only at your house 1 time. No, honey, no. That's not true. So it's insidious. It's an insidious drug that its only thing that it wants to do to you is to destroy you, and you just want more and more and more of it, and it's horrible.
Yeah. So, um, I guess if someone came to you, another sibling came to you, and well, let me ask you this first. Do you think it would have helped if you gave some ultimatums? So for instance, I'll give you a ride to look at this apartment if you can show me you have the money to pay the down payment or the whatever it is, the first month's
Positive.
rent, deposit and first month's rent. Do you think that that would have helped or hurt or made any difference?
I don't think it would have hurt.
Hmm.
I think it would have helped, but only me. It would have only have helped me.
Hmm.
It wouldn't you, because you would have gotten angry or distraught that I wasn't helping you. And you would have again reverted to this uncharacteristically ugly behavior. And so part of you wants to protect yourself against hearing these ugly things come out of someone whom you love's mouth.
Hmm.
But yes, I wish in retrospect that that day that I had said, well, I'll come pick you up. We'll go get some food. We'll talk about this. What's your plan?
Hmm. Hmm.
And on from there. And if you didn't want to do that, then that would have shown me that you weren't anywhere near prepared to go rent an apartment. So instead, I wasted multiple hours of my day taking you to an apartment that and then dropping you off with these weirdos that I don't know, okay, I guess I'm just going to drop you off here.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yes, I mean, that is definitely something that a lot of people could do. They just need to be mentally prepared for the other person to turn on them in a second.
Yeah. Yeah. And as hard as it is, maybe have some empathy to know that that isn't them.
Mhm.
Shield yourself from the words and not take
Mhm.
it personally and just know that it's the addiction talking, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. But what makes it so difficult is that you can recognize that this is not the same person that you know, and you can shield yourself against their words. But if the two of you are very close, like you and I are, then you're going to know exactly what to say to me to hurt me the worst.
Yeah.
And some, and you did a couple of times, and it was difficult to hear you say those things when you would never consciously hurt me.
Yeah.
So, but yes, absolutely. I think that that's a good point.
Well, I'm sorry that those things came out and that I hurt your feelings.
My feeling,
Your feeling, the
my
one.
one. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But you've apologized before, so there's no need to apologize again. But thank you.
But yeah, you're right. The drug also allows you to, there's something about it picks up this reservoir of knowing what to say that's the most cutting and the
Hmm.
most hurtful. I could do that with anybody, in my existence. So, okay, so I was arrested the last time. I turned myself in Charlotte and got out, and then that started my sober journey. Um,
Hmm.
the kids, I was homeless for a while. You know the drill. You were in South Carolina at the time. I don't think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we saw each other a lot that first year and a half when I was in drug treatment court. Um, but in that process of me getting sober, how long and at what point did you begin to trust me again?
Um, it was a while. It was a while before I felt that I could trust you, or that even that the kids were safe with you, because I hadn't felt that way in a long time. I didn't feel like the kids were safe. I didn't feel like I could trust anything that you said. And so it did take a while to put that trust in you. And that's the thing, is that once you started talking about it more and talking about like the things that you were doing to like retrain your brain and all of those things, and when you finally started admitting, well, I relapsed here, or I relapsed there, or all I can dream about are needles and things like that. So once you started being able to like be more vocal, I felt more comfortable. But also insidiously, again, at the same time, you were still doing those things. And so it was so hard to figure out what I could trust and what I couldn't.
Yeah.
But that we went when you graduated from drug court, it was, it was like such a relief and happiness, but also in the back of your head, there's still just like a shade or a shred of, is it going to stick this time? Is this real? And so that's the thing, is that if you do have a family member who is in active or inactive addiction, it's going to be hard to figure out if what they're saying is sincere. And it probably is sincere at the time.
Yeah.
And then trigger or something will happen. And then it takes away all of the progress that you made, because, once you're back in, you're back in.
Yeah.
And so very difficult for anyone out there.
And that's a good point. And what I'm going to make with my mom too, because when I would relapse, she would say things like, well, all that stuff you wrote on social media was all lies, right? When I would
Mhm,
make this, big proclamations of being sober and thanking her and that stuff. But in the moment, it is
mhm.
sincere.
Yeah.
In the
Mhm.
moment, you have this resolve of I'm going to quit no matter what. I'm done. I'm ready. But that just because you relapse doesn't mean you never meant any of that.
Exactly. Mhm. Yeah, and I would agree. I would agree with that, because you were sincere and we did believe you. And I mean, I can't speak for anybody else. I hoped for the best, and I hoped every time for the best. But, and I never like thought anything bad of you, like, oh, well, he was writing all this stuff on social media, but the whole time he was just waiting for his chance. I mean, because that doesn't do anyone any good. You just have to trust that person and hope for the best for them and be there if they reach out, and be around and just be open.
Mm,
Because even if you do relapse again, that does, or if they relapse again, it it's okay,
mm.
because hopefully they'll come back to you again.
Yeah.
And it may take 15 times, it may take one time, it may never be completely over. But if that person is actively working towards something and you are helping them, or even just being an ear, then that's all you can do.
Yeah.